All right, so welcome back to Dominion Empire's What's in the Box, Part 3. So next we're going to get started with the debt cards. Now, we obviously already did one debt card, and that was Fortunate, and that was part of a split pile. But there's a few more that are in the supply, possibly, when you play this expansion, that start out with just Victory Debt. Debt tokens. Sorry, not Victory Debt. Debt tokens. So let's get started. So first we have the Engineer. When you get this, it's going to give you 4 debt tokens, unless you have 4 money, of course. Then you won't get any debt at all. And most likely, when you get the Engineer, most likely you will have 3 or 4 money anyway, so it's not going to give you any debt, most likely. But it's letting you know that if you had 0 money, you could still get this regardless. You would just get 4 debt. So what does it do? Well, you gain a card costing up to 4. Then you may trash this. If you do, you gain another card costing up to 4. So sometimes I like to hold on to this, gain a couple of cards costing 4. Then at some point, I'll trash it so I can get 2 cards costing up to 4. That's a pretty cool card. Get a couple of these. That'll help you gain a lot of cards. Getting 2 cards for the price of 1 is a pretty cool deal. And that's a pretty cool card. Then we have the Royal Blacksmith. And this one I do not like that much because it kind of goes against my copper strategies. So this is recommended you get rid of this when you have gotten rid of most of your coppers, because this card's going to give you a lot of cards. It's going to give you 5 cards when you play it, but when you reveal your hand after you play it, you'll have to discard all the coppers in your hand after you get the 5 cards. So it's not as useful if you've kept a hold of your coppers. Sometimes you'll play this game and you won't have any way to trash your coppers, and so then this card is kind of like, well, not worth it because of that. But if you get rid of most of your coppers, because you start with 7, if you can get rid of most of them, then this makes it all the more better. Getting that 5 card bonus is pretty cool. But remember, when you purchase this, you're going to get 8 debt tokens unless you have 8 money when you buy this. So if you have 0 money when you buy this, you'll get 8 debt tokens. If you have 5 or 4 or 3, you'll get a few debt tokens that you'll still have to pay off. And that's most likely what's going to happen. You'll get this when you have a few money, and you'll still get a few debt tokens in the process. Then we have the Overlord. Now, this one also is going to give you 8 debt tokens as well, but when you play this, you'll play this as if it were an action card in the supply costing up to 5. This is that card until it leaves play. So basically, the Overlord can be any card costing up to 5. However, it cannot be a card that has a debt on it. If it just has a debt on it, like the Engineer or the Royal Blacksmith, it can't be any of these because these do not have the same cost. So it can't become one of them, and it certainly cannot become the City Quarter either. But regardless of the case, if you have a normal action card costing up to 5 in the supply, you can turn the Overlord into that whenever you need it. So maybe it's something you need in particular at that particular moment. This could be that card for you. Instead of randomly getting the cards, this could give you a chance of getting the cards you need at a crucial moment when you have it available in your deck, or in your hand, I mean. So, is it worth it for 8? Yeah, but I don't buy it too often unless, and I don't usually buy it too often because it's still not my favorite card. Then we have the City Quarter. Now, this is definitely one of my favorite cards. This is probably my most favorite debt card there is. So, it's going to give you 8 debt tokens, unless you have a few money when you purchase it. Or when you gain it, you'll still get the debt. So, no, when you gain it, you will not get the debt. But most likely, you just simply can't gain this the same way you would a normal card. Like, this says you can gain a card costing up to 4. You can't use this to gain another Engineer. At least I don't think you can. I'll have to try it on Dominion Online and see if you can or not, but whenever I get a chance to play with it next. But anyways, so you get +2 actions, you reveal your hand, you get +1 card per action card revealed. That is powerful. So if you have a lot of action cards when you play this, assuming you're planning on playing a lot of action cards after the City Quarter, you're going to get a few cards too. So that's really useful. It's a really powerful card. And it's definitely one of my favorites in this expansion. Okay, so that's it for those. Now let's get into the regular costing cards in this expansion that are pretty normal, at least in the sense of buying them. So we have 3 here that are 3 costing cards that are normal, that aren't part of split piles. So first we have the Enchantress, and I kept it mostly just because of the pig. That's the only reason why I kept it, is because of the pig, because there was a pig in it. So otherwise I would have gotten rid of it. No pig in this, I would have gotten rid of it in the picture. That's the only reason why I kept it, because of the pig. So, until your next turn, the first time each other player plays an action card on their turn, they get +1 card and +1 action instead of following its instructions. And at the start of your next turn, you're going to get +2 cards. This is definitely a fun attack card for me to play with. Although it can get annoying after a while, because a lot of your actions will be just a card and an action on the first turn. And if you have a bunch of Enchantresses in play, your opponents will have a few turns where a few actions on the first turn where it's just going to be card, action, card, action, card, action, if you had like 3 of these in play. So, and it'll affect everybody when they play an action card. And then, of course, at the start of your next turn, you get 2 cards as your benefit. That's a pretty powerful little card for a 3-costing card, but it's not super horrendous because your opponents will still get a card and they'll still get an action. It's not like they completely lose their turn. And there are some cases where the action, this affects them and it's not such a big deal to them because, hey, they had 2 action cards, but the 2 action cards they had in their hand didn't give them any extra actions. And so the first one will give them a card in action, and then they'll still get to play the second one. And they're not super miffed about it because of that. So it's not overly mean. Now, this is probably my most favorite action in the expansion, one of them anyway. Chariot Race. I really like this card a lot. So you get a card, you get an action, then you reveal the top card of your deck and you put it into your hand. The player to your left reveals the top card of their deck, and if your card costs more, you'll get 1 treasure and you'll get a victory token as well. It's fun to really pull this off and get that extra victory token is really cool if you can pull this off. And you get a card every time you play this, basically. Your opponent, they don't get a card. They just reveal their card. So their card's going to be the same every time you play this. So let's say they reveal a copper, and you keep revealing cards that are better than copper. You're going to get a lot of victory tokens. You're going to get a lot of treasure, especially if you have a lot of chariot races in your hand. So that's really powerful. Really cool card. It's one of my favorites. Then we have the Farmer's Market, and I like this one as well a lot. But you'll notice it's an action gathering pile. So what does gathering mean? Well, let's grab a victory token as a demonstration. Okay, so it gives you a +buy, and if there are 4 victory tokens or more on the Farmer's Market supply pile, take them and trash this, meaning you'll trash the Farmer's Market you have in play, not the Farmer's Market that's in the supply. You'll take victory tokens from the supply, but you won't trash the card that's in the supply. You'll just trash the one you have. Otherwise, you'll add 1 victory token to the pile and then get 1 treasure per victory token on the pile. So the first time you play the Farmer's Market, you will probably not have a victory token on here. So you'll get to add a victory token to the Farmer's Market supply. So there's our victory token. And then that means when you play this, you'll also get a treasure and a buy. Then the next time you play it, assuming nobody else has been going the Farmer's Market route, you'll put another victory token on the Farmer's Market. And now your card in your hand that you just played is going to give you a buy, and it's going to give you 2 money because there's 2 victory tokens on this pile. Then let's say you get to play it a 3rd time. So then the 3rd time you play it, you will have 2 already on there, and you'll add a new one, and then this Farmer's Market is going to give you 3 points. And it's also, it's going to give you 3 money as well. So that's really cool, buying 3 money. Then let's say you play it a 4th time. Well, the 4th time you play it, you'll put another victory token onto this pile here. Then your farmer's market that you just played will be worth 4 treasure, and it'll give you a buy. And then the 5th time you play this, assuming nobody else has been buying the farmer's market, you'll take these tokens and add them to yours. So you'll have 4 victory points, basically, that don't clog up your deck, and you'll trash the current farmer's market that you just played. And obviously, because you trashed it, you won't get the money for it. But the benefit is you're getting 4 victory points, so that is totally worth it. And so that's how it works. And then the next time, assuming you had more than 1 farmer's market, the next time you play it, you get to put a victory token on here. So this is a really powerful card, and so is Chariot Race. They're both really awesome cards. I like all of these 3 costing cards a lot. So, and that's it for this video. We'll continue on where we left off in the next one.